Want to hear something good?
Want to hear something good?
That's good.
I gotta tell you about this good thing. Did you hear about that program? It's good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
What's good?
What's good?
Did you hear what's good?
What's good, Goodwill?
What's good, Goodwill?
What's good,
Goodwill?
Hello and welcome to our September episode of What's Good, Goodwill. September is Suicide Prevention Month. The first half of this episode discusses peer support, suicide prevention, and resources. Exact times can be found in the Good Bits section on our website. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Please call or text 988. You can also use their online text chat by visiting 988lifeline.org. Once again, that's 988lifeline.org. Now on to our episode. I'm your host, Michelle.
And I'm Heather.
And joining us today is Bryan. Bryan, would you like to remind us what your position is with Goodwill?
I am the Director of Behavioral Health and Wellness.
Ooh. So, Bryan, you want to tell us a little bit more about what that position is and what you do at Goodwill?
One of my first tasks is I joined with the Goodlife team that supports team members in a variety of different ways, accessing resources in their local communities, kind of helping them navigate different stressors and challenges that they might face. And then my secondary project has been applying for a behavioral health license for Goodwill.
Ooh.
Which we are close to submitting, and once that is approved, then we will be officially kind of like in the realm of outpatient mental health clinics, and our focus is going to start with peer support specialists.
Nice.
Which I think plays well into Goodwill's model of giving people a hand up, and peer support is a growing behavioral health position around the country and Washington in particular. And in the next year, it will actually be kind of a credential that you get through the Department of Health, like a nursing license or
Nice.
like my mental health counselor license. They'll be certified peers.
Bryan, what is a peer support specialist? Like, what do our listeners understand about that?
The critical piece about peer supports is that they are someone who has lived experience with behavioral health. And behavioral health is the catch-all term for mental health and wellness, and also includes substance use concerns. So these are individuals who have either themselves kind of been through some type of mental health challenge or substance use challenge, or supported a loved one along the way. And so their role in the kind of the overall healthcare intervention is to provide someone that kind of support from that perspective of having been through it, and giving them hope to sort of build up recovery is kind of the big term. And historically that has been really associated with like recovering from an illness or recovering from substance use. But
Sure.
I sometimes talk about capital or recovery, which is the process that maybe that we're all in, of like moving towards the next better thing in our lives, and kind of pulling it together.
How do you see that peer support position being of value? I feel like it's something that for myself, I've just started hearing that term in the last maybe 4 or 5 years. And so for a lot of people, that might be a new term for them, and thinking about the value of having somebody who's lived through that experience walking alongside you, as opposed to solely, working with somebody who maybe has their PhD or, something like that.
Oftentimes we talk about like all the initials that come along with different professional positions
A, B, C, D, E, F.
that perhaps have a role. I mean, I'd like to think I have a role in it, but there's also definitely a role for someone who has sort of been through the thick of it, and the idea of inspiring hope and making sure that the individual, that their voice is heard, and navigating the system. One of the big issues is we have a variety of resources around the state, both states, Idaho and Washington. And what we know is that they're insufficient. But on top of that, they can be difficult to access.
Right.
Ideally, there's, sort of no wrong door and someone can get help in from any direction, but that's not really how it plays out. The other piece is really walking alongside someone, accompanying them on their recovery, and there's a bit of it that is a bit of coaching to kind of figure out how do you get yourself best organized, and how do you establish goals for yourself and kind of move yourself forward and have momentum in your life.
Yeah.
And the other piece of it also that really fits well with Goodwill's mission in terms of people who are kind of maybe in a reentry phase of their life or kind of putting the pieces back together is that it is a pathway to participating.
Peer support is a good tie-in and lead into why Bryan is joining us today. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And as part of our Goodlife support program, it's getting the word out about the different resources that someone can access. So, Bryan, do you want to talk to us a little bit more about 988 and the different ways that people can find help if they're thinking about suicide?
Sure. One of the things that is concerning, that even before the pandemic, the numbers on suicide were going the wrong way. We went through in the close of the 20th century into the 21st century, things had been improving. And that about 2010, 2011 seemed to sort of reverse, and the numbers have continued to go up year over year. One of the things that different communities have done, and it's been nationalized now, is this 988 that Michelle mentioned, which is akin to 911, something that we've all kind of known about for years, most of our lives, if not all of our lives. So 988 is the same type of system. You dial 988. You can even text 988, I think.
Yeah, I think I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and get tied to wherever you are in the country. And there are even sort of components that are specific to veterans or the Native American population.
Yep.
Kind of has their own track because those are two particularly high-risk groups that we know about. And so when you dial 988, you get somebody who is local and somebody who's trained to provide crisis intervention, connect you to resources. So it can be both kind of in the moment, kind of talking somebody through a challenging decision that they're facing, or just that sense of feeling overwhelmed and in crisis. And then if needed, tie them to services that are local to them. And it was rolled out about a year ago, and of course, with any rollout, there's bumps and bruises.
Yeah.
So, but Frontier Behavioral Health is, and actually, it's a good friend of mine that that is the director of our local 988 operation, and so it's a great resource to have, so that if it's needed, it's there in the same way that 911 would be for kind of like physical and, emergencies, fire and safety type things. It's a different kind of safety concern.
Absolutely. We've talked about this before, Bryan, and that, we're trying to normalize being okay with not being okay. And rather than just wanting everybody to say, I'm fine, and not getting into the weeds of how they're doing, to normalize being okay to say, I'm really struggling, I'm not okay, and then having some resources that we can refer people to, as well as just being present when somebody's struggling. I know for me, I tend to try to want to fix it. What are some thoughts that you have, to share with us about Suicide Prevention Month, and just, some of the conversations we've had about this?
I think being present is an important idea. Yes, there are resources, and there are certain things that sometimes people need to keep themselves safe. But the thing that we can all do is ask that question, how you're doing, and that is leading edge. That's the number one intervention. Is just take a moment to hear how someone's doing and let them know that it's okay to not be okay. Reducing the stigma around it and the sense of that there's something wrong or broken, because when we all sort of get honest and feel safe, we all have stuff. And suicide is really pretty common. It's one of those things that's it's around everywhere, and it's affected. Most people have some sort of experience with it, whether it's personal, with their own kind of suicidal thoughts that they've had at different times in life, or someone that they loved who has been in that place or actually died by suicide. So it's one of those things that it's everywhere, but sometimes we're not very comfortable talking about it. And that's really the big push, is just talk about it. It's no one is less safe because you ask them even direct questions about like, wow, you seem really down. Are you safe? That might, that's really comfortable for me to ask, because that's sort of what I do.
Right.
But the goal is that more people, you don't need specialized training. There is specialized training, and we're working at making that available both kind of within our stores and within WFS around Goodwill, so that people feel like they have more tools in their toolbox, but you're the best tool that you have.
Yeah.
Just paying attention and being present.
Yep. So you heard it from Bryan. Pay attention, be present, ask that authentic question. If you see that somebody's not doing okay, are you okay? And then just knowing that really simple resource is out there. It's been ingrained in all of us to dial 911, and use, the training that we've all gotten. And are you okay? Are you okay? Call 911. Well,
Right.
So here is our encouragement to you around suicide prevention and awareness for you personally and the people around you is ask somebody if they're okay, be present and listen, and then 988 is that resource to call, and that help is available. And I know for me, I often feel completely inadequate when I have somebody who's struggling with that, but that resource is available, and just having somebody hear you.
The positive within the kind of the experience of someone who is suicidal is that ambivalence, and that the possibility of things turning around. And so we think of suicide as it's serious and it's grim. Feeling suicidal is really about the question of living as much as it's about anything else. And so by being present and having those conversations and connecting to resources, that helps ground people into things are far from perfect. Things are still kind of a mess, but maybe I can hold on for a little bit longer. So those are some of the things that that we're trying to just make people aware of. And I think it's really a sign of the leadership of Goodwill to bring someone like me on board to ask questions and kind of say, hey, what about this? And so I'm really excited that we have an opportunity this year to pay attention and be mindful of September, every September.
Sure.
And so I'm working with marketing to get the message out there. So there'll be something in the newsletter, something on GBS, and of course, your Goodlife team member support specialists, Brett and Jeff, are available. And one of the things that we're really wanting to make people aware of is SupportLinc, which is an employee assistance program that Goodwill has invested in. That regardless of where you are on our, whether or not you're participating in the health plan, the dental plan, every employee, part-time, full-time, and their family members have access to SupportLinc. So we're also getting that information out there. There's QR codes. There's text lines. You can if you're old school and you just want to call up and talk with someone, and it's a 24/7 response. And it's not just for crises. But certainly it's there for that, and referrals for mental health, and be on the lookout for other things of that SupportLinc is going to be able to offer you, like credit counseling, pet insurance. I think I just saw something recently about like they were waiving sort of gym membership application fees.
Different. Yep. So for those of you who maybe are just popping in, you haven't heard about the Goodlife program before. So Goodwill really we believe in taking care of our employees and our team members and their families. And so if you have not ever considered applying for Goodwill, or maybe you have and you just haven't, this is one of the ways, one of the benefits that we provide to our employees in helping to take care of them, helping our team members to connect to resources that they need within their communities. And that's just one of the many ways that internally we look at changing lives and strengthening communities is investing in the Goodlife program, investing in bringing Bryan in as Director of Behavioral Health and Wellness, and investing in the SupportLinc program that is a benefit for employees and their family members that you're not necessarily going to find that at other employers. So if you haven't thought about applying at Goodwill, we've got lots of different positions available and lots of great benefits that we're providing to our team members to make sure that they're taken care of.
Bryan, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us today. This is such an important topic for not just September, but all year long.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryan.
Thank you.
There are a lot of good things happening this month in September.
There are, and as we head into the fall season with temperatures starting to cool down a little bit, and people are coming back from vacation, there are a lot of great community events that are happening, and one of those is on September 14th up in the Sandpoint and Pend Oreille communities. They have Pend Oreille Neighbor Days. And it's a fantastic event just for families with, people of all ages. Mm-hmm. So come out and visit the Goodwill booth out at that. And we are actually a sponsor of Pend Oreille Neighbor Days. Really, we feel strongly about investing in our communities and building in those relationships. So come see us at our booth. We're going to have all sorts of we're going to have some games for the kids. We're going to have information and staff there to talk to you about what the programs are that we have up in Pend Oreille, and then just some fun, fashion ideas and Halloween ideas, because that's right around the corner.
And just saying, because it never seems to fail. It always almost seems to rain every Pend Oreille Neighbor Day. So just in case, it's a big field. Mm-hmm. So you might in your car have some rain jackets, some galoshes, just in case.
Yep, just in case.
I'm not going to curse it.
We always have a booth, and it's nice and covered, but, just in case. Yeah, what is it about that weekend? But anyway, come see us anyway. And then also, September 28th, there is the Columbia Basin Buddy Walk out in Moses Lake. And really, it's a great community event around support for people who have some barriers and developmental disabilities. And our Moses Lake team always goes out and participates in that and walks in it. And one or two of our staff are going to be out there taking pictures and walking in it. So it's a great community event. I love that. So, go drive out to Moses Lake if you want, participate in that. And then I also know that coming up this fall, I apologize, I'm forgetting the dates, but keep an eye out for the Veterans Stand Down that is happening. There's a couple of them that happen one in Stevens County, there's one in Spokane County. So those are fantastic events for veterans as well. So watch for Goodwill being out and involved at events in your community this fall.
Not only is September Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, it is also Secondhand September. So you may be wondering what Secondhand September is, because it's not... I like to joke that we are aware because we work in secondhand thrift stores. So Secondhand September encourages you to rethink buying new and to try and find what you need pre-loved or pre-owned, if you're not a little comfortable with pre-loved. I I like pre-loved, especially with shoes, because somebody else has already taken the task of breaking in your shoes.
This is true. I do have some great shoes and boots that I have found at Goodwill, and they're already broken in, and for some reason somebody just decided they didn't love them and they passed them on. So
Secondhand September was created to help stop fast fashion, to encourage sustainable practices, and to pass along gently used, unwanted, or no longer needed clothing. So here at Goodwill, we encourage you to choose secondhand first, not just in September, but every month and for every season. Goodwill has seasonal decor and apparel like Halloween, which is in stores now, and home goods, electronics, dishware, and more.
yeah, absolutely. So I know there are some people have kind of a hard time thinking about wearing or using something that somebody else may already have worn or owned, but it really is so much better for our environment and for your wallet as well. I do have to say, prior to coming to Goodwill, I worked in a county organization that served 5 counties, and we took care of hazardous waste removal, and we taught master recycling classes and that. And I learned so much in those 3 years about the amount of waste that happens in our society and how much water and how many natural resources it takes to produce new goods, whether it's a pair of jeans or T-shirts or your small appliances that you have in your home. And it really does have a negative impact on the environment. It takes a lot of resources, a lot of energy, and also there's a lot that happens with the production of clothing in third world countries that aren't the best for people who work in those countries. So think about that. Just take a chance, come out. I know my neighbor told me recently, as I was leaving for work one day, she goes, "You always have the cutest outfits. Your closet must be overflowing." And I said, "Well, I do work at Goodwill." So you find great things, and you don't have to spend a lot. And the lessons that you're also to pass on to your children and your grandchildren about using less, creating your own unique fashion styles, and it's just really for the best and better for everyone involved.
And speaking of Halloween, because once again, I'm going to plug that I love Halloween. And we have, if you haven't seen it yet, and you will because it'll haunt you, we have brand new Halloween ads that are out right now.
Them.
And they
So
are
good.
magical, and they are local. Those aren't actors. Those are local Goodwill shoppers in our ads.
They are, and they had so much fun putting together their costumes and finding, for Sam, finding the items to decorate his apartment. And we love it that people locally are helping us get the word out and put our ads and sharing things on our social channels. So check it out. Halloween comes alive at Goodwill, and it's been coming alive at Goodwill since August 24th. So I'm just saying, come check it out.
We have a Pinterest board that
Love
is
it.
loaded. I mean, loaded with costumes. We've got everything from spooky, scary, kids costumes, couples costumes, group costumes.
Yep.
You could be a sand witch.
You could be a sandwich.
I love the little punny ones. Like the whole fun section is always just a blast to look at. Like there's copy. So if you're looking even for like last minutes, maybe you don't have the best inspiration, or you're not the most creative, or you've got 2 left thumbs and a hot glue gun, and you're ready to make like a last minute costume.
Oh, that sounds like me.
Goodwill has you covered.
It is. I do have to say, I hit our Pinterest board often looking for different costume and fashion ideas. So check it out. I already know my husband doesn't love Halloween, and so we're always looking for the non-scary, Halloween things for if we end up doing anything Halloweeny. And I already have our Halloween costumes. Thank you, Michelle.
You are very welcome.
Where's Waldo and where's Waldette? I'm not sure.
I was about to say, if you find Waldo and Wanda, Wilma,
I don't
Wendy,
remember.
I don't remember what female Waldo is called, but hint, if you find them, one of them might be Heather.
It might be me.
One.
And I'm not Waldo. Just guessing.
So one last call for trunk or treats.
Oh, trunk or treat, so much fun. So we will be up on the South Hill again this fall in October, and I am forgetting the date, so Michelle's going to remind me.
Saturday, October 26th.
Thank you. So Saturday, October 26th, our trunk or treat, we're going to be up on the South Hill. And, so again, if you want to partner with us, you want to bring a car up, your business wants to come and set up a booth, reach out to us. Those spots do tend to fill up pretty fast. We had more than 700.
Oh, no, madam. Teresa has actually corrected me, and I was going to let our listeners know we had over 1,000 people last year.
I thought so, but I wasn't going to question.
That was me. That was my goof.
We did. So, yeah, we did. Okay, thought I was losing my mind. We did. We had over 1,000 people up at that event last year. So it is a great opportunity for you to have some visibility in the community. And you think many of us know how seldom kids are going out trick-or-treating in their neighborhoods anymore. It just isn't the same as when we were kids. So it's a fun way for kids to be able to get out, celebrate Halloween. You can give away candy. You can give away, little, pencils or crayons or little toys if you'd prefer to do that. But please reach out to us. Teresa Beck is our event coordinator, and we will have a link below for how you can get in touch with us and get your booth or car reservation spot. Like I said, we do have limited space. We do fill up pretty quickly. So reach out to us now. We're looking forward to partnering with you on October 26th at the South Hill Trunk or Treat.
And if you're a dentist, please reach out to us. One of our favorite things when we had the trunk or treat at Coeur d'Alene was one of the local dentists had their vehicle and they gave away toothbrushes. So once again, it doesn't have to be candy.
Right.
We highly encourage having a teal pumpkin item, which is normally something that is not candy. It could be food, non-sugar products. It could be fruits. It could be toys. Just we want to reach as many children as possible and bring the greatest of joy. So 1,000 plus people, children of all ages, and the coolest costumes I think you're ever going to see in one place.
I have been amazed every year. And, again, I had no voice after talking to 1,000 parents and children last year. But it is really fun to see some of the creativity. I think we had an Oogie Boogie family 2 years or 3 years ago. So if you're listening and you're the Oogie Boogie family, you need to get in contact with us because they got a bunch of their stuff at Goodwill, and we were so impressed. But this year, just in time for a certain movie to be coming out, our theme for our car, should I reveal what it is, or is it a surprise?
Are you going to? I think
maybe it should be a surprise.
I think but if you say his name twice, or maybe 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
Is she going to do it? She's not going to do it.
I'm not going to say it third time. I'll jinx it.
Please, 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 please. The link is in the Good Bits section below. Please, Teresa is waiting for your call.
Well, I think we have come to that point that is really my favorite part of our podcast, and that is our spotlight stories.
I can't wait for this one. I was personally involved with the recording of this.
It was fantastic. So our spotlight story this month is on Star. And Star was our graduate of the year this past year. And her story is she is just such a joy of a person. We all got to be present when she received her award. She works at the Davenport Hotel, and she just has such a bright and bubbly personality. She's rather shy, but her job, working with her job coach there, initially, she's been there for a couple years at least, and she just has grown so much personally and professionally at her job. It's just been really neat to see her grow. Both her coworkers and her bosses and her job coach say that while she's working there, she's just grown so much. She's down at the historic Davenport Hotel, and her story is just a beautiful example of how lives are changed through Goodwill.
We had the opportunity to sit down with not only Star, but also her previous job coach, Jackie, and a team member and friend of Star's at the Davenport. Let's take a listen.
My name is Star. I work at the Davenport Motel.
My name is Jacqueline. I am WFS DDA DVR Program Assistant Manager for Goodwill. When I first became an employment specialist with Goodwill, Star was my first client, so I was in charge of helping her find a job that she loved. Star has a very bubbly personality. She wanted to work with a lot of people who would accept that and accept her.
The employees at Davenport treat me very well. And Iva was my first coworker I rebonded with.
My name's Iva. I've worked at the Davenport for about 2.5 years.
I am most proud of Star's independence. She has come really far.
I think she has a lot more confidence in what she's doing.
Davenport calls each other family, and I'm part of that family.
That just sitting there and listening to Star just talk about how she connected with Goodwill and how, she wanted to make a change. She wasn't happy with her previous job, and she connected with Goodwill, and now she's in a position that she loves and she can grow with.
Yeah, I love that. And it was also fun, too, for me to see and to sit and listen and chat with her job coach that she started out with is Jackie. Mm-hmm. And Jackie actually started at Goodwill in our retail production team. And she has grown, and she transferred over to the Workforce and Family Services Department in Goodwill, which is our Mission Services Department. And she became a job coach, and now she is working in a program manager position. So it's really exciting to see the growth that can happen. So once again, a plug for applying to work at Goodwill, that we do have opportunities for you in every department to help change lives.
And that's pretty good.
That's excellent.
Hey, if you're hearing this message, you've listened to our new episode all the way to the end. And for that, thank you.
And don't forget to keep up with What's Good by following us on social media. On Facebook at INW Goodwill, Instagram at Goodwill_INW, Twitter at Goodwill INW, and TikTok at Goodwill INW.
Okay, normally we have a dad joke, but this, if you're listening to us, and if you don't follow us on social media, now is the time. Follow us, tag us, show us the goods.